Hello, today we are going to talk about a really important topic controversial to many. We will talk about masturbation and magic, sexuality and magic, how the two are related and how one can use sexual energy in magic, and also what are the consequences of sexual abstinence in sorcery. So we need to understand before we start discussing this issue that sexual energy is not something which is purely physical. Sexual energy is not just the process in which you masturbate and ejaculate as a male or as a female. And the sexual energy is not just animalistic drive, which is here for reproduction. It is a spiritual operation. We can be aware or unaware of spiritual aspects of sexuality, but they are definitely there. In the same way that we can be aware or unaware of the fact that we are going to die, and we will die anyway. The fact that so many people are not aware of spiritual aspects of sexuality doesn't mean it isn't spiritual. Also, there is one really common misconception in occult circles, and that's the fact that there is a spiritual sex and then there is non-spiritual sex. That's bullshit. Every sexual encounter or every expression of sexual energy has a spiritual side to it. Now we will discuss specifically the topic of self-pleasing and masturbation in sorcery. Masturbation in sorcery should be discussed separately than sexual intercourse with somebody, because there are many different variables influencing masturbation and sex with somebody else. This video will be focused on masturbation and magic. So what you are doing when you are masturbating? You are definitely, regardless of gender, releasing your sexual energy into the universe through stimulation of your genitalia. Now, what are the benefits of masturbation and magic? First, you are harnessing enormous amounts of energy. Second, you are then pushing that energy into the universe. And third, you are pushing into the universe extremely dense energy, which will, if directed towards particular goal, bring quicker results than another forms of energy, because the sexual energy is by density and character really good for affecting the physical plane. Now, there are certain drawbacks for using sexual energy in your sorcery. First, your sexual energy contains your literal life force. If you express too much sexual energy, your life force can become depleted. It can lead to deterioration of health, increased aging, drop in psychic abilities, and it can also lead to mental distress. So be careful. Also, acts of sex magic should be performed in sacred space which is well fortified, in order to prevent vampiric spirits and entities from affecting and feeding off your sexual energy. I am talking about rogue parasites such as shadow people, rogue succubi, malevolent dead, etc. Spirits which are not here to aid your evolution, but to hinder it and weaken you as an individual. So, in order to prevent those spirits from feeding off your sexual energy you express during the ritual, you should raise the space and fortify it really well. Now, how to direct sexual energy? That's another question. One is through doing it yourself, and two is through summoning the spirit, which is powerful, beneficial to you, and sexual in nature, and give to that spirit your sexual energy as an offering. with a particular intention. Another way of directing your sexual energy is through visualizing that end result, then releasing the energy through the climax, and anointing the sigil, which represents that goal, with the sexual fluids emanated as a result of sexual orgasm. This is a really common technique in chaos magic. And chaos magic is magic with a funny title and funny name of cum magic, because majority of people who practice chaos magic use sex magic with the sigils almost exclusively. And it's kind of funny, but it doesn't matter how funny it is, because it is really effective. And it really works. Now, I gave you two techniques you can utilize with your sex magic. But right now we will discuss two spirits you can give your sexual energy to in order to achieve your goal. Another is Lilith, and the second spirit, is Agrath but Mahlat. Now, giving sexual energy to Lilith has its own risks. What I can say is that when you give your sexual energy to Lilith, you really are awakening the primal and vampiric form of her. So if you are a beginner, I don't recommend it. But I will tell you how giving your sexual energy to Lilith or any other spirit works. So, raise the sacred space, fortify it well, fortify it really, really well, for the reasons I mentioned previously. And then call the spirit through your conjurations, incantations, and magical chants. I have a lot of them on this channel dedicated to Lilith specifically. When the spirit arrives, talk to the spirit. Talk about your end results. Talk about your goal. Talk about why you want it, why you desire it, what is the reason why you will perform this rite. What are urges? What are the goals? What are the dreams? What are motivations? Focus on it. Focus on your lust and desire for these results. Live the result already. Be the result already. Build up that tension, that motivation, that mind. Build it. Be kind. And then, after you fill yourself with that vision of the end result, with that glory you desire to achieve after your result manifests, then relax yourself. Command Lilith or Agrath to sexually arouse you. And after they sexually arouse you, start pleasing yourself. Now, while you please yourself, energy will go from the spirit into you, from the spirit into you, from the spirit into you. You will kind of feel that orgasmic connection with the entity, like a strong electricity. And near the orgasm, near the climax, you will kind of feel really, really strong tingling, like an energetic shock to your body. Bzz, 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 like lighting is striking you. And then, at that moment, visualize end result really strongly. Visualize your gloriful result, your lust for that result. And in that moment of strong electricity, of orgasmic ecstasy, transmute all of your desire to the spirit of your choosing. Now, in that orgasmic moment of sexual ecstasy, it is really important to focus on the end result. at that exact point in time of this ritual. This point, near the climax, is much more important than the climax itself. After you climax, and after you transmute all of your energy to the spirit, it is important to meditate in peace with the energy of the spirit. And what the spirit will do is, spirit will take the remnants of your energy, which are not absorbed by the spirit, and he will slowly return that energy to you. Now, I will discuss last 4 minutes of this video. What are the things you can ask Lilith with those rights, and what are the things you can ask Agrath with those rights? Lilith, you can ask the following: understanding of your sexuality, understanding of your defects, physical, mental, and rational, and also spiritual. You can ask her for tapping into forbidden and perverse gnosis of the night side. You can ask her to vampirize and destroy your enemies. You can ask her to go beyond the limits of shameful and accepted. You can ask her to experience your traumas and nightmares. You can ask her for protection. You can ask her for power. You can ask her to seduce somebody. And the most important of all, you can ask her to spiritually adopt you and become your spiritual guide. Agrath, however, is a little bit different. I saw a little bit more true and primordial form of Agrath but Mahlat tonight. Agrath seems to be much easier to handle in the beginning, and she is much better for beginners. Agrath gives much clearer visions than Lilith, and she gives gnosis and knowledge much quickly. She can specifically be called to increase the powers of your intellect, your psychic abilities, to initiate you. She is much better at initiating than many spirits of the Qliphoth. She is a really profound initiator, especially for beginners. I don't know why she is such a understudied and under-practiced spirit in modern occultism. In Rabbinic Judaism, she is really one of the more infamous demons. Not so much today, but a little bit in the past, she was extremely well known. So Agrath I can call the queen of initiations. She can also teach extremely powerful forms of illusion magic. And she is predatory, but in a much more direct and wild way than Lilith. When you send Villain or Lilith to perform the task of vampirism and curse, Lilith likes to drink the target slowly. On another hand, Agrath is brutal. Agrath will really come and slaughter the fuck out of the motherfucker really quickly. She does it slowly, there is no game. Actually, she does it quicker. I made a mistake in phrasing. Agrath does it much quicker than Lilith. Lilith does it slowly. And one other thing. Agrath seems to be much more capable of enjoying the destruction. She seems much more wild than Lilith. But she is also much safer for work when we talk about beginners than Lilith. Agrath seems to be less capable in manifesting money, but Agrath can also manifest decent sums. But Agrath is mostly for curses, for initiation, for healing. She is also a good healer. She is really good at illusion magic, and most of all, she is master who knows a lot about plants which induce ecstatic states. She is extremely powerful spirit if you want to channel meditations. I have found meditations channeled from her to be much more powerful than meditations channeled from other spirits. She seems to be much more capable in giving mysteries regarding meditation than other demons of the Qliphoth. And this is kind of everything I know from my work with Agrath. By the way, my video course regarding Agrath is still in the making. But I realized that there is much more effort I need to invest into the course in order to be fully sure that it contains all of the necessary information. So it won't be published as quickly as I anticipated, but this video contains a lot of interesting information for you. And also, tomorrow we will cover another really powerful and useful topic for sex magic, guys. Peace out.